so that the people that weren't able to make the meeting, I'm going to upload this as a YouTube video later, so that people can get the instruction if they need it. But what really the whole purpose of today is to show you guys on my screen the assignment that I'm going to be pushing out to you today, which is our final task for Challenger Deep. And then to think about, just get a little bit of input on how we want to move forward. I have a few ideas. I would love to hear from you guys, because in my last YouTube video, like I said, everything, like, we're not allowed to really teach any new skills for the rest of the year. So that means that I have to just reinforce the stuff that we've already done. And that, I mean, that really does change everything that I was going to teach you guys for the rest of the year. So I'm doing a little bit of scrambling, trying to figure it out. So I'd love some feedback. I have, like I said, I have a few ideas, but I'd like to hear from you. So we'll do that after I present today's assignment. So just start us off. Two things to start us off. Number one, last night, they released Gradebook back to us, meaning that now we can put in fourth quarter grades. So on your end, it's going to look very, very similar to how you're used to. It's going to continue to compute as like a letter grade. So when you log into your gradebook, you're going to be able to see what your grade percentage is, just like normal. However, by the end of the semester, so June 12th, you have to have a 60% or above in your classes in order to be considered pass. So at least you'll be able to see kind of where you are if you're slipping. And I think they did this. I was talking to Clarissa yesterday when I was at school, and she said part of the reason why they wanted to do this is because while theoretically, you know that like a 62% is passing, it's a lot scarier to look at the grade book and see like 6 Ds as opposed to like A's and B's, which you guys are probably very used to getting, or A's and B's. So I think that they did that in order to keep you focused. I think that that's really more of a concern for like upperclassmen than it is for you guys. But just so that you know, everything's going to look the same. So tomorrow, my non-teaching day, I'm going to be entering in a bunch of grades into the grade book. So by the end of the weekend, your grade should more or less be updated. Okay. The only thing that I might not have in there is this week's weekly work. So just kind of keep posted. If you have any questions about your grades, then just let me know. All right. I had one more thing. I don't remember. Oh yeah. Now I remember. So here's the reason why I've been doing individual meets as opposed to group meets. I know I've been talking to high school teachers, and it seems like there are a lot of meets that are happening at the high school level. Am I right? My people that have videos, is that correct that a lot of your teachers are doing meets? Yeah. And yeah, that's true. Okay. So what my concern was that it was going to get overwhelming of like keeping track of all of your different meets. So that's why I put in that question on the attendance form for this week. So please make sure that you complete that attendance form by the end of the day today. So I do have a question on there of like, do you want to do more Google Meets? And then I had 3 options, either like, no, I like doing the individual meets, I don't need any Google Meets. Yeah, having 1 a week, or yes, please do 1 every class period. So just answer, and then I'll compile your answers and I'll kind of come up with a routine based on what you said. I'm seeing the majority of you guys are agreeing with what I thought, which is like, we don't need more Google Meets. It seems to be a little too much. But once I get everybody's response, then I will make a decision and communicate that decision to you. All right, let's talk about Challenger Deep stuff. I've been grading your ARJs. I'm about halfway through. I have seen it's better than I could have even asked for. Your responses have just been amazing. And like I said, this is the first time I've taught this book, and I was, that's always nerve-wracking. You don't know how it's going to go. And of course, this is not the ideal situation. I've wanted to be. This is a book that really needs us to be at school to really do it justice. But from what I see, I'm seeing really great engagement, and I feel like I'm inside your brains as I'm reading your ARJs. So that's just been a really wonderful experience for me. So thank you for putting in the effort on those ARJs, and hopefully it will pay off for what we're going to be doing with that work. So there's our segue. Present a window. No, hold on. Let me get this happen. Present window. Here we go. Share. This is going to get posted on Google Classroom right after this meet is done. All right. Can you guys see that? Can you see that Google Doc? Okay, let me, hold on.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. So, all right. By the way, I know that Miss Watney is doing Zoom. Would you guys mind that if we did go forward and start doing more of these meets, would you guys mind if I made it a Zoom meet rather than a Google Meet? Would you guys be okay if I use Zoom? Yeah? I hate Google Meet. I think it's awful. Zoom is just infinitely better. So if you guys are okay using Zoom, I might move forward with Zoom. All right, so let's go to, hold on, here we go. Okay, so first of all, I'm calling this a final. It's not really a final. It's more of just kind of a wrap up and getting a more rounded idea of your thinking about the book. So this is due next Friday, May 1st. It's worth 40 points. You're going to be doing 4 responses. Each response is worth 10 points. So kind of just a nice, easy round number. So here are the directions. So first, so all this is going to be done on a separate Google Doc. It's not going to be done on like your weekly work form or anything like that. This is going to be its own Google Doc, just like how we would be doing if we were actually in school. So first, you're going to complete the required question below on a Google Doc, then choose 2 of the below questions and respond. So your answer should have specific evidence from the book with page or chapter numbers. A lot of the chapters are like 1.5 pages. So if you only have the chapter number, I'll accept that. And they should thoroughly answer the question and demonstrate a well-rounded understanding of the text. And your answer should have proper conventions, meaning spelling, grammar, punctuation, spelling, etc. So here is the first required one. So everybody's going to do this first piece. You're choosing 2 of your ARJ entries, and you're doing a deep explanation of the quote and your thinking. So from what I've been looking at with your ARJs, they have been like really wonderful, but brief, right? That's kind of the idea behind them, is that they're just a quick touch in on your thinking. So the purpose of this is to take 2 of those entries and kind of expand on them. So first, I want you to give context of what's going on in the quotation. So what's happening in the book from that quote. Like if it's towards the beginning of the book, what's going on with Caden, in the middle, the end. So kind of give context on what's going on. Then expand on what you said in your ARJ on your thinking side. So why did that quote, these are not questions that you have to answer, but these are questions that can help you build your answer if you're a little bit stuck. So why did that quote stick out to you? What did it make you think of? What significance did that quotation have in the book? And what significance did it have in your reading of it, in your enjoyment or your lack of enjoyment? And what does that quotation reveal to you? So you don't have to answer those questions when you're picking those 2 entries. But if you're finding yourself stuck and you don't know what to write about, and you don't know how to answer, because that's a really vague prompt of like, expand on your thinking. That's so vague, and some people don't do well with vague questions. Those questions below are there to guide you. So if you feel like you need help, you can answer those questions or a couple of those questions. So I'm going to go through the next 9, and then I will come to you guys. I'll get rid of this, and then I'll come to you and ask for questions, okay? Because I can't see you guys right now because I can only see my doc. So is that okay? I'm going to hold off on the questions. If you have a question and you are afraid of talking into the Google Meet, like you don't want your voice, you're just nervous about that, you can go ahead and type a question right now into the chat, and then I can come and answer your chat questions, okay? All right, so after you do the required question, which is 2 of those ARJ entries, then you're gonna be choosing 2 of these 9 questions. All right, so again, you're doing 4 things total, 2 from your ARJ, and then 2 of these questions. So I'm just going to go through these 9 questions, all right? So number 1, describe Caden's relationship with the captain and the parrot. How are the captain and the parrot allies? Or are they allies, excuse me, why or why not? What fears does the captain have about the crew members, and how does he elicit Caden's assistance? Number 2, what parallels can you draw between Caden's visions about the ship and the captain and Caden's life? This is a real big, juicy one. So for example, what role does Caden's lack of preparation for the science test play in the vision in which he is branded? Identify and discuss the meanings of other parallels. There's loads of them in the book. So a lot of you guys, as I was reading your RJs, you were able to draw out those parallels. So if that's something that you focused on in your ARJ, that would be a really great question. Hold on, let me get this person in there. All right, number 3, how does Caden feel about being in the hospital? Describe his time there. Does the therapy work for him? Why or why not? In what way does Caden feel betrayed? Trace the development of one idea in his real world and the world in his mind. So this is kind of mirroring what is in number 2 as well. So kind of the parallels between the fantasy stuff and the his reality. Okay, number 4, there are a bunch of really important characters in the book. Who's the parrot and what role does he play? Does the parrot have control over Caden? Why or why not? What does his death symbolize in the story? Hal is another huge character. What happens to Hal? How does his character move the story forward? Callie or Calliope, what importance does she have in the story? You have the Swabby, you've got the captain. So you've got lots of different options there, and you can kind of track the development of any of those key characters other than Caden in the story. Okay, number 5, compare and contrast Calliope and Callie. Discuss the ways in which they're connected. In what ways do they provide safe places for Caden? How would the story be different if Caden's experiences were told through either Calliope or Callie's eyes? So kind of doing a deep dive into Calliope and Callie's character. Number 6, so this is a little bit different. This has to do with the art in the book. So Caden is an artist. This is also based on Neal Shusterman's son, Brandon Shusterman, who is also an artist and provided the art in the book. So it really does kind of draw on those real experiences. So discuss how his artwork changes throughout the story and how it's representative of his mental health. Okay, number 7. On page 132, which is the very first sentence of chapter 76, Caden says, "I'm trapped in a conspiracy of conspiracies," which is just such a good line. Discuss possible interpretations of this passage and evidence that supports your viewpoints. So kind of doing a deep dive into that quote. Number 8, at what point in the story do you realize that Caden is suffering from a mental illness? Where do you think he starts spiraling into like his deepest point, his abyss, and how do you know? And then how does the author, Neal Shusterman, use pieces of the story to illustrate Caden's journey through mental illness and using evidence from the text to support your answer with that? And then number 9 is all about symbolism. So after Caden leaves the hospital, he has a vision that he's walking on a boardwalk and gets into a conversation with someone on a yacht. And then how does the yacht contrast with Caden's visions of the ship and its captain, and discuss the symbolism that goes on in that scene. So these, I know that was kind of a rapid fire through those 9. I'm going to post these up on Google Classroom immediately after this so that you can read them at your leisure and kind of decide on which ones that you want to do. But let me get over here. Hold on. Stop sharing. Okay. Are there any questions about, I know that was, again, like a real rapid fire go through of those prompts, but are there any questions about anything that you saw on there?
Yeah, when's the final going to be due?
Oh yeah, Austin. Yeah, I don't know if you saw that. It was, it's due next Friday. So it's
okay.
So that's really what we're going to be working on during our class time next week. I'm going to be making myself available for, I'll probably do another open meet like this So you can pop in and ask questions, and we can discuss certain ones in more detail after you've had some time to think about it and plan a little bit. But you're not going to have any additional work next week. It's really going to be focused on working on these 4 different questions.
Also, like on the computer, so the activity you gave us, like, dang it, what was it?
The article.
No, dang it. I'm trying to find it. It was not the attendance check. Oh, the weekly work, April 20th through 23rd. Are you going to post another video for that?
No, I have something I'm going to show you guys at the end of this video. That's the work for that. I mean, it's unbelievably easy. I can just tell you guys right now. So there's no warm up today. Showing up was your warm up. The activity practice, I want you to tell me so this, you can't do it until really after you have, you've looked at the questions, but try to think about, just tell me which ones you're kind of drawn to for answering. So which 2 you're drawn to. And then your exit ticket is, hold on, let me look. Oh yeah, your enjoyment of the book. I want to know how you felt about the book. If you liked it, if you disliked it, why, kind of explaining that stuff. So I'll put, actually here, I'll share that right now so you guys can kind of see it. So hold on.
Okay, so the activity is like which questions you were drawn to, and then the exit ticket is how you felt about the book. Exactly.
I'm presenting it right now. Hold on. If it is there, hold on. Yeah,
oh,
so
perfect.
Nothing. Your activity practice, which 2 questions do you think you're going to choose? Again, you're not married to those questions as soon as you put them down. If you decide later you want to do different ones, that's fine. And then your exit ticket, how did you enjoy the book? What made you like it or dislike it? Kind of explain yourself. And then if you have any questions that you want to ask me individually, put it underneath that response. Okay. Any other, hold on, Cassidy, I saw you had a question. I only interpreted a couple of things so far. The expansion of a journal entry. Could I finish interpreting the symbols that I left out and connect them back to the story? Absolutely. That's completely fine, Cassidy. Yeah. Stop sharing. All right. Any other questions? You guys doing okay? Are you hanging in there? Yeah, I know this is really hard. This is not a great way to end your freshman year. It's a huge bummer. But hopefully we can get through this as easily as possible and start next year off better. Hopefully we'll be able to go back to school next year. Who knows at this point? But yeah, so here's my last thing before I let you guys go. I would love if you have in your, this could go just in your exit ticket. If you have any ideas of things that you would like to do for the rest of the year. So one of my ideas was I did it last year with my accelerated class and it went over really, really, really well. We listened to a podcast and we did an analysis of the episodes. It's kind of like a whodunit true crime podcast about this guy who got sent to prison in 1999 for killing his girlfriend. And there are a lot of people who believe that he is innocent and he claims his innocence. And so this journalist, throughout the course of 10 episodes of this podcast, goes and like does a deep dive into the evidence. It's a really, really, it's like considered one of the best podcasts of all time. It's called Serial. And it's kind of made podcasts explode. It changed the way that people made and listened to podcasts. So it was kind of a pivotal podcast in the podcasting world. So the one thing about it, it's really dark. It's about a real murder. It's about a real 16-year-old girl that was killed. And it's got some bad language in it. But because it's real people talking, right? It's not censored. So I was thinking that maybe that might be I might have like 2 options and that might be one of the options. The other option could be like reading a novel. So if you guys have suggestions of things that you would like to do, I would love to hear them. So in your exit ticket, just right underneath where you talk about if you like the book or not, if you have something that you'd like to do, or if the sound of cereal sounds really great, or the sound of cereal, the podcast sounds awful, just kind of give me a little bit of feedback. Again, this has really thrown a monkey wrench into my plans for the rest of the year. So I'd love to get, I like how you spell, sorry, it's cereal, S-E-R-I-E-L, not cereal like the kind you eat with a bowl and a spoon. It's like cereal, like one after the other. I should have clarified that. So, but yeah, just kind of give me some feedback. I want to do, oh my gosh, Jenna, yes. I actually like contemplated of opening up my, my videos with, hey there, all you cool cats and kittens. But if any of you have seen Tiger King on Netflix, which is just the best show ever, but it's kind of like that one episode of Tiger King where they kind of do a deep dive into Carol Baskin and her husband. It's like a whole podcast of that. So if you really liked that episode of Tiger King, to those of you who have watched it, which everybody should watch it because it's awesome, then it's very much like that. All right, anything else that I can help you guys with? Questions, comments, concerns, gripes, grievances, any of that good stuff? Okay. I'm going to take the stunned silence as a you're doing just fine. All right. If you need me, if you want to do an individual meet, just email me or text me on Remind, or my phone number is up on the blog if you want to text me on my phone. I'm available for, so if you, as you're working on this, if you have any questions, even if it's not during our class time, just let me know and we can set something up. All right, guys. Okay. Hope you're doing well. Yeah. Oh, I hate this. Like, how do you even end these? All right. So, I will see you guys next week. Okay. Okay. Have a wonderful weekend, everybody. Bye, guys. Okay. How do I stop recording this? I just end this? Stop recording.